Hi and hello again. It's the Poem with the Microphone play button here with the second actual episode of Batislava's favorite game show, Do You Believe It? As I have mentioned before, I am your host, Play Button to Pegasus, and Zinnia would be here today, but he's eating the world's largest candy cane right now, so he's kind of busy. Here with me are my guests, the currently squeaky skull dog, Chris.
Mark Squeakily.
And the shark... Okay. And the shark boy without lava girl, Ezekiel. Say hi.
I still don't like Craig.
We don't insult Craig. He's recording. What do you think? What if my audio gets messed up again? If you don't know how the game works, neither do we. But the essential is I have an article from Ripley's archive, and then I ask questions. They answer. We all get a laugh out of it. It's a good time. I'm good at explaining things. Okay.
Hey, Craig.
Explain why Craig is wanted in the state of Maryland.
Scrappy Doo has been found dead in Miami.
The streets of Brazil.
Craig isn't good enough to go to Brazil. He's going to California.
Is this ending up in the final recording? Who knows? Okay, let's get to the first question. Controversial British figure Oliver Cromwell's brother-in-law believed that he can trade with what people? What is the residents of the moon who can fly? 2, the Irish. 3, the spice people.
The spice?
As in, like, the... What was the road called? Silk Road.
The Silk Road.
Okay, Chris, do you think he wanted to trade with the residents of the moon and other planets, or the Irish, or the people on the Silk Road?
I want to say the Irish.
I'm with Chris.
It was the residents of the moon who can fly.
What?
So pretty much he had a belief that he saw on the moon and other planets, even though the moon is not a planet, it is a moon, that they are winged.
The moon, and you take the moon, and you take the moon, and you take the moon.
No!
Shut up. Shut up. We do not mention that theme song during the podcast.
Moon.
We're gonna get copyright claims. What are you doing? Cartoon Network's gonna be on a butt.
The CEO of Cartoon Network is going to show up at your house tomorrow, and I don't know. I actually don't know what he'll do.
Pretty much he saw winged beings who he said, "Yep, we're gonna trade with them and make British the most powerful empire," because this was the 1600s, and that's all Britain was on about at that time. They were like, we want to be the best. So the guy's name was Wilkins, and according to Wilkins, how would the space travelers breathe in space? Either was it a big tube, like they would have a big tube just full of that fresh British air that probably had chemicals in it, or they would just send them there really quickly so they don't have to worry about the vacuum of space? Or did they believe that there were angels there who had pure air?
1600s Britain, I'm going to go with the angel theory.
I am also banking on it being angels.
Ding, 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 you got it.
Cool.
Although big
so,
tube of air is also pretty amusing.
I mean, they had those. Wasn't that there were like compressed airways where it was like that's how they powered the trains? It was like compressed air, and so it goes shoo. And then what? I'm gonna open a window. No, no! Someone gets sucked out. No, it was a That was a vacuum tube. Boy, it wasn't compressed air. It's a vacuum. Okay, so. How do you think Wilkins decided? How would he power the flying machine in 1600s Britain? Do you think he wanted to use angel power, having like angel, a good or a bad one, pull it, or a winged chariot that breaks free from gravity like a magnet, and then they just snap so it goes into the Earth's moon's gravity, and then they just land safely and everybody's happy? Or all of the above?
Generally, in my experience, all of the above is never incorrect.
I'm gonna go with the winged chariot theory.
It was all of the above.
See? You see what I told you?
Jeez.
This is what I learned from my bio homework. If you see all of the above, it's never wrong.
And pretty much,
joking.
He wanted to use he said he would use a good or bad angel, and if they were unwilling, that's when they would use the winged chariot, because they didn't understand how much power you need to break Earth's gravity. You pretty much need it's just like isn't that what the rockets on when they send some, it's like pretty much it's a mini explosion in there, and then they just go and then they break it at a certain point. So Wilkins was a member of the Royal Society, and he also worked at a university where he had access to other such good gadgets. Which of the other gadgets did he have a hand in? What was his toys? Was it the self-cleaning chamber pot, the glass beehive, or a gate to heaven?
I'm gonna go with glass beehive.
I kind of want to go with the chamber pot.
Ezekiel, you're correct.
Huzzah.
Yeah, pretty much. So that way they could see the colony when they're doing their thing. And it was I really don't know where I think there was a problem. What if someone is just, doing what 1600 kids do, just probably throwing rocks at things, and what if they break the beehive? Then they got bees heading towards them at Mach 7 or something. I don't know how fast bees go.
What they call it Nicolas Cage.
Okay, now we get to since we're done with that, I have some single questions, and then we're going to probably find some more stuff. A Boston band has an orchestra of just what? What do you think a Boston band would have an orchestra of just this one instrument?
Is mayonnaise an acceptable answer?
Mayonnaise is not an acceptable answer in this case.
I understood that reference. Ha 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 ha. I watched SpongeBob.
So did most of people our age. Ezekiel, what do you think they had what instrument do you think they used?
I'm sorry, what do I don't like this. It's very hard to hear. I need to try and get on a PC for the next podcast.
A Boston band has an orchestra of just what? What do you think a Boston band would have a orchestra of just what instrument?
Bagpipes.
I would say this instrument isn't necessarily an instrument. It's not really used in a musical sense. But it is something that is fairly ubiquitous in places. Probably if you go back 20, 30 years ago, you'll find them. And they frequent thrift stores a lot. You can probably find one every time. If I go to a Goodwill any day of the week, there'll probably be at least one of these things sitting there, usually in the electronics section.
No.
I have
Xylophone?
a xylophone. There probably is a xylophone orchestra, but that's not what they do. I mentioned it is not a instrument per se. I would say this is more associated with The Office. Not the television show, just offices in general.
Just like people playing the computer or something?
Not... How do I give this away? How do I give a hint without giving it away?
Oh, I got it. They play the stapler.
Not it makes it sound like a stapler. I could say this is like a predecessor to being on Discord, and you know, you got the guy who has the fancy gaming keyboard and you just go. It's kind of like that. It makes noises like that.
The typewriter?
Yes, they have an orchestra of just typewriters.
Like electric typewriters? Serious? Do they walk around with like the early 1900 typewriters that go like tick, tick, ding?
Yeah, the big boy typewriters. And it, according to the article I read, it was started as kind of like a joke that was just taken too seriously. So it's really more... It's like... And they all dress up in like, I would say business casual. So it's like dress up shirts and they have a tie on. Speaking of Massachusetts, in Salem, Massachusetts, there is the world's largest what? What
ball
do you think?
Of yarn.
But there are plenty of ball of yarns, but I don't think there is one in Salem, Massachusetts.
Dang it. Sorry, that was the first thing that came to mind for some reason.
Is it because you listened to the song "The Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota"?
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Is it an apothecary?
It is not that. But what is Salem, Massachusetts usually associated with?
Witches!
Hangings. Hanging witches.
And it's also the... this is one of the choices, but I guess it's also home to the headquarters of what religious, I would say semi-religious organization?
The Church of Satan.
As in, they are religious in a way, but they're not religious, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, they...
Right? I'm not wrong, right?
What?
The Church of Satan?
Satanic Temple.
Close enough.
What about you said which the world's largest, but if you say witches, if you pull back, what are you gonna get? Like, what are witches most associated with?
Magic,
or what's another way of saying magic?
Spells?
Occult. The occult. What's a thing that if you wanted to portray the occult in a movie, what are you going to have in a room?
Pentagrams,
robes.
usually.
Everyone wears robes.
Robes. Most horror movies use this in
The pentagram.
Pentagram. I would say it usually before then. Like if someone goes to a house and if they have this and they pull this out and do the thing with it.
A Ouija board?
Ding, ding, ding. It's a Ouija board. The world's largest Ouija board, which is the planchette, is like 400 pounds.
Oh, God.
But it's they built it in a way where they can like a single person can move it by themselves. And apparently the entire board weighs 9,000 pounds.
Fun!
Wow. That's almost as big as your mom.
I'm going to put the sound effect of bum 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 bum. Wow.
Oh, get epically roasted, no one in particular.
The guy who built this is named Rick Shrek, who goes by Ormortis. And he's the vice president of the Talking Board Historical Society, and he's also a tattoo artist. Because if you are part of a society that talks about Ouija boards, you're probably going to be a tattoo artist. Would you expect that?
Probably.
To an extent, yes.
And it's called Ouijazilla. And the planchette is 15 feet by 15.5 feet by 10 feet. And the face of the board is 3,168 square feet. So you can park, according to Ripley, is 5 full-size 18-wheelers.
Dang.
What do you? I imagine. You can. Is that the board you use to summon Cthulhu?
Probably.
Yeah. Well, then again, considering the size, you could probably bring along Cthulhu and a couple of his pals. Have a big party.
Bring the Shoggoth along as well. All that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Just
okay. Fun fact.
Don't bring the cat.
Okay, here's I guess we're gonna do some bonus rounds. I'm just gonna look at the comics. The first computer count. Okay, let me just do that again. 1, 2, 3. The first computer mouse had a casing made out of what?
Do we have options?
Rubber.
Rubber.
I'm going to say ceramic?
If you were building something probably as an experiment, what would you build it out of? Because this is fairly ubiquitous building material.
What year has this been around?
Wait, what? Is it wood?
Ezekiel? You said wood?
Yeah.
That's correct. It was wood.
I would have guessed asbestos.
Asbestos mouse.
They tried telling me it was dangerous, so I just huffed a whole bunch of the asbestos particles, and now my liver is shutting down.
The first mouse was what, in like late 70s? Yeah, that'd probably be an asbestos mouse. There's a high likelihood it would be an asbestos mouse.
Okay, the nymph. I thought it was a funny name. Then it wasn't as funny. So, the nymph of a flatted plant hopper looks like a walking piece of what?
Hey, it's 6:21 where I am.
Yeah, get him.
Oh God. I've literally never heard of this thing before in my life.
It's just a plant, and this is the nymph of it. when it's in its nymph form, what does it look like? It looks like a walking piece of popcorn. So,
I guess no one got to point that right.
So if you got a walking piece of popcorn walking around your room, I think you got a plant hopper problem. So
horrifying.
And I guess that concludes it. I'm done with my stuff, and I think we've recorded for long enough. So I would like to say thanks to Chris. Here's you.
What?
Yes.
I would like to thank Chris for joining in with me. I'm sure they said something more, but they cut it out.
I just made a weird noise.
Okay, so I'd like to thank you for having me on. Even though we recorded this last week, but that never came to pass.
Yeah, thanks, Craig.
It wasn't Craig. It was my mic situation.
No, we're blaming Craig for this.
Yeah, we're bringing Craig.
Craig. It's all Craig's fault.
Screw you, Craig.
What kind of a name is Craig, anyways? I bet his mother never loved him.
I would dock your pay if we even paid you.
Which we don't, so we're just going to take more money from Craig.
I didn't pay for Craig. Also, Ezekiel, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Not anything ever happens in my life, and it's nice to do something else.
Who actually won this? It was Ezekiel, right?
Maybe.
I think it was Ezekiel. You know what? You win a overwhelming sense of accomplishment in yourself, because we need that these day and ages,
Okay.
Chris, as runner-up, you get a Pringle. You get one Pringle.
Flavor is it?
Thank you for listening to Do You Believe It? I don't know when this is coming out.
Blow me off like that. What flavor is the Pringle? Tell me. I need this information.
Original.
Fair.
Thank you for listening to Do You Believe It, the only show on the internet. But next time,
that's a bold statement, Cotton.
But I don't know when I'm going to do this again, but hopefully I will. It was fun. That's all for Do You Believe It?
That's all, folks.
I already ended my recording. The following is from a previous recording session with Zinnia, Chris, and Ezekiel that ended up being unused due to bad recording conditions. Here are some clips from that recording session that I and the guests found funny. Now, let's introduce my guests. First is the Bobakin, who's currently a Bobakin. Let's redo that.
Bobakin. That's my new Elder Scrolls OC.
Bobokin. Bokoblin. First, we got the current. This is going on the blooper reel, right?
I hope. I pray.
Well, I usually just put this stuff like this at the end of the episode, because after the theme, and then Zinnia, what do you think it was?
Sold it.
Dad, I'm recording. This is all. This is the best recording session. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sold it.
Oh, this is all going on the cutting room floor, right? Okay.
Doesn't your filter work?
What?
Doesn't your filter work?
No, I saw it. I saw it glowing on my mic indicator thing, and they heard it. They heard it. I got. Okay, Zinnia, you say he sold it?